Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important comic book review so you the fans can make a decision what comic books to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about all new, all different Marvel's Doctor Strange issue number 1. Here you can see that I bought the action figure variant. Very cool, as it comes with battle axe, exchangeable hands, it's got the eye. And yeah, so a really cool cover here. This book is written by Jason Aaron, and the artwork done in this issue is done by Chris Bachalo. I think this was the artist for one of the X-Men books that was recently done. There's a lot going on when you're reading this book visually, just because obviously Doctor Strange is this sorcerer supreme, and he always has monsters and creatures and crazy backgrounds and things like that always going on. You can see him walking down the street, and again, you can see all the stuff that's going on in this actual book while he's walking down the street. A lot of dialogue in this issue. But it's kind of feels dark. It feels like it fits the tone of the book. He's this dark magician, and it does fit that tone of the book, very mysterious-like. So what did I think about this particular issue? What was it about? Let's recap it a little bit. So the book does a great job here at describing Doctor Strange's origin, because a lot of us probably may not know where he came from, especially now. We haven't seen a Doctor Strange book in a very long time. So it goes back into the day, and it shows like old comic pages from him, and explains how he was the surgeon and how he was in this bad accident and he couldn't use his hands anymore, and he studied the mystic arts. And it was really cool to see that little introduction, something that maybe a lot of people may have not known. He's kind of this player. He kind of reminds you of Tony Stark in a way. And in this book, you get to see him do this introduction of him doing this battle against these weird creatures, and there's a lot of narration in him, and the book does a good job describing what his life is in his everyday world. So that's what Jason Aaron really does well in this book, is getting the reader to understand what he goes through in this universe. So you get to see him do this exorcism type of thing against this little boy, and then the next thing you find out is he's walking down the street and he's got to go to this meeting, and again, you get to see everything that he sees. So the artwork is really innovative, because you get to see everyday normal people walking down the street that are just black and white, and then everything that's in his universe that he sees is in color, and it's all these parasites and all these weird crazy creatures. And so it was done in a very, again, innovative way to get the reader to understand again what he goes through. So he has to go into this bar, and he meets up with Scarlet Witch and a couple of other people, and they're talking about certain meetings that's going on. And then he goes into meeting this female that's at his doorstep, and we wind up finding out that she's got this weird creature stuck inside of her head, and it kind of looks like this. It's like this parasite that grew teeth, and it's called a soul eater, and it kind of leaves you with this cliffhanger with all this shit coming out of her head. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, that is weird stuff right there, you know? So I was like just dumbfounded by the whole thing. And so then it gives you a little bit of another kind of a backup story with another Sorcerer Supreme that was around in I think the 13th century. So that was the story in a nutshell. What did I think about this particular issue? Again, I thought it did a good job at trying to get the readers to understand what was going on in his universe. But the thing is with Doctor Strange is, do you care enough to learn about the mystic arts? Do you want to involve yourself with it? Because the way the characters were talking in here, they're talking about these weird creatures and these weird things, and it's like, as a reader, you kind of can't really relate to that. It's like, okay, it feels like you have to study a whole new other language to understand what Doctor Strange and his partners are talking about. So it's like, do you want to invest in a series where you might not be familiar with? If you're into magic and sorcery, you might want to find out and dive into this world. However, with me, I was never a huge fan of Constantine from DC Comics, and I have never, ever got into Doctor Strange on an individual basis as a character. I never really wanted to learn about him. So am I really willing to dive into this? Are you willing to dive into this and learn about Doctor Strange and what he deals with on a normal everyday basis? So for me, it's still on the fence. I'm not sure if I'm going to. There's a lot of titles that I'm going to read, and I might have to make an unnecessary cut, because for me, it doesn't acquire my taste. I think this was a well-written book, and I think people are going to like it. So when I give it a rating, it's not because it's a bad book. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So I'm going to give this one a 3.75 out of 5 stars. I thought it was well written. I thought the artwork was innovative. However, it's just the world around it. Do you really want to get involved in it? So I'm going to leave that one up to you guys to see if you guys want to pick that up. But that's my thoughts when I got done reading this. 3.75 out of 5 stars. Guys, tell me in the comments below what you thought about this particular issue, and are you going to continue reading this? So fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0, and until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.